All right, welcome back to the Standard Podcast, episode 4. I have a great friend with me, Kelly Blackwell. Thank you for coming, and
Yeah.
I'm interested to dive in and understand your story as to where you were and where you're at today. So,
Yeah, thanks. I'm
thank you for
excited to be
coming.
here. This
Absolutely.
is super exciting.
Absolutely.
You know, I could probably talk for hours about this, but one day it just clicked for me, right? I was sitting on the back patio. It was one of those days where it was like 74 degrees. It was beautiful. Like those days you're like, I'm going to drink a margarita on the porch because that's what you do when it's 74 degrees. There's a light breeze. It's spring. Things are blooming. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to make a drink. So I made a drink all by myself. Like my kids are running around. My husband didn't even want one. Like I just made one. And that next morning it clicked. I was like, why do I need to have a drink because it's beautiful outside? That was like one of the first clicks. And so then I just started thinking like, where did that conditioning come from, right? So then the conditioning started just unraveling. Just really having legit conversations with myself like, well, that probably came from Sex and the City, you know? Which I've been thinking about that show a lot lately. There's lots of conditioning in that of like the boss babe. You can still have martinis at lunch and go back to work. You know, that sort of conditioning, as much as it's just a show. You know, me and my best friends in high school, we watched that show. That's what we thought we were supposed to be, right?
I can relate.
Yeah.
Mine was Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I emulated Jordan Belfort. And
okay.
So I understand that.
Yeah. And so I just really started, the biggest thing for me is when unraveling the conditioning. Why am I doing this? Who told me that this was what I was supposed to be doing, you know? And so, yeah, the conditioning just started unraveling. Like I did yoga teacher training. We did a lot of heart opening and realization of, wow, I'm walking with my shoulders caved in. You know, there's just a lot of things that like we don't even realize in this world is influencing us like physically, mentally, and what we've just grown up with. Absolutely. You know, celebrating. Like I remember I was pregnant with Benny and I finally passed my final architecture exam. I was a licensed architect. Like the one thing I thought about was I can't have a margarita because I'm 6 months pregnant. I can't celebrate, right? Yep. Nobody taught me how to properly celebrate without alcohol, right? It wasn't modeled for me. It was never shown for me. So it's like, that's just what I defaulted.
Now, was it your parents, do you think? Is that how your parents celebrated?
Yeah, my mom worked her butt off, you know, and so all of her, like anybody she worked with, that's what they do. You know, the big work thing, then they'd go out to dinner and they'd all get cocktails. And yeah.
And isn't it funny just, you know, I can resonate with the programming part of it. You know, for me growing up, alcohol was a way to relax, a way to celebrate, a way to, I mean, to be quite frank with you, my parents tell me the story all the time. When they picked me up, or they had a limo come pick up my mom and me from the hospital the day I was born, and my parents and my grandparents were drinking champagne in the back of the limo.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think, could I have been programmed from that point on? But there's always something in my mind that says, well, if my parents and my grandparents were kissing me at that early of an age and I can smell it on their breath, is that something in the back of my psyche that I was relating to as I got older?
Oh, I'm sure.
You know what I mean?
I mean, even if you were probably in the womb and it was happening around you,
it goes deep.
It goes real deep.
It goes very deep.
And it also goes into, you know, generations before you too. You know, that stuff is really in our DNA. It really is. I've read so many studies about it, but yeah.
I think addiction, right? Because for me, I look at alcohol and other substances. I don't want to say I necessarily had an alcohol problem. I had a coping problem.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I was just using alcohol because it's a social norm and I can get away with it to cope with life, to celebrate with life. You know, again, it became something that...
Because that's what everybody did. That nobody showed us we could celebrate without it.
Correct.
Like that was it.
Correct.
And life is worth celebrating, right? Like
it absolutely is.
And so how do we model then better coping mechanisms, you know? That was one of the things during my yoga teacher training was we did a map of sort of like large things that happened in our lives. And almost every time there was unfortunately in my life, I always have like 2 or 3 large trauma things happen. And then every time, sort of like 6 months after that, I had some sort of alcohol issue, or I was definitely numbing out for months. And I know that was a pretty rough time in my life, you know, but that's how I was coping with it.
Sure.
I didn't know any other way.
It's scary to think, but yeah, that is how people are coping even to today. Take me back to the times that you, in your mind, thought you had a problem with alcohol and the attempts that you made to stop drinking. Maybe it was wine only, beer only, all that. Because my intention with this is if somebody's watching this right now and they want to make a change, what could they hear out of your mouth that they can make that change today or help them make that change today?
Well, and to be honest, I think it was a slow process, right? Like, it wasn't like, I'm going to completely stop right now when I'm 20, when I clearly had an issue and I had a pretty large thing going on and I partied all throughout my teens, right? I could have cold turkeyed then, but there was no way. Like, I had to work through it. I had to get a little bit more mature. I had to find things that really interest me, you know? Yep. It was my freshman year in college. So I was just finding out what is interesting to me. You know, I was doing architecture. And it was like, oh my gosh, I actually am smart. Like, I love architecture. I love learning about this. So I was learning more about myself outside of party girl Kelly, right? And so it was like this slow unraveling of like, okay, my early 20s, you know, and then it was, all right, I'm going to pull back a little bit. And then I went to grad school, pulled back for a little bit. Then I went into the workforce, definitely partied pretty hard, right? Because that's just what you do. Like, we partied Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and then roll right into it.
And mimosas on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Brunch. You got to go to brunch and get mimosas. So I thought that it had to be this all or nothing thing, which I think ultimately, obviously, is the goal. Sure. But you have to arrive at your own pace. There cannot be I'm ripping everything out, because to me, that just is a shock to your system, right? Sure. Which maybe some people do need, but I think for, you know, the partiers in their 20s or the college people, then it's just kind of domino affecting. Like, I think the slow pullback and turning each page slowly got me there. Like you said, like, I was like, oh, well, I don't want to drink at night, so I'll just drink during the day so that my hangover doesn't roll into the next day. Like, that was like one phase, right? And then I was like, okay, well, beer makes me puff up and I don't feel great, so I'm just going to drink wine. So it was like, all right, now I just drink wine during the day. Sure. You know, and then it was like, okay, I'll have occasional margarita. And then, so it was just this slowly waking up. And then it was, you know, I think over 10 years ago, I started questioning like just the ingredients in like my shampoo, right? I was like, okay, well, if I want to have kids and do all these things, like I should probably get toxins out, right? Yeah. But then I was still consuming alcohol. Sure. You know? Sure. So I truly think that it's at your own arrival time, right?
That's a very good point.
And I think that everybody's story is completely different, right? Yep. And that's completely okay. Like, give yourself some damn grace, because it's super important to understand your own story and how you're arriving to it, and not to give yourself too much pressure. Because like I said, it wasn't like, oh, this Sunday I'm going to stop drinking liquor. It was just a one day I clicked and I was like, why did I have to have a patio, you know, drink on a patio? Yeah. And it wasn't like I'm quitting this Sunday. You know, it was just I just was really listening to my internal dialogue and was like, this is a good time to pause.
So I think for you, you know, the word change was probably lingering in your mind, but your change was a progressive change. Mm-hmm. Where for me, it was different. May 22nd of 2017, I woke up. Yes, something happened that sort of tipped me off to stop. Right. But leading up to that, no, I hadn't really switched to beer or just switched to wine. I was pedal to the metal all the way up to that point. And it leads me to my next point of the word identity. Right. When you were drinking and you were contemplating stopping drinking, how much of your identity do you feel played into your decision and what other people thought of you and what other people perceived you as, and who's Kelly?
Oh yeah. I was I was the one that threw parties in high school at my house. Like I was the party girl, right?
Yep.
It was it was definitely my identity. And like that, one of the things I think that always came back to why I wouldn't just completely, stop was like, well, I lose all my friends. Mm-hmm. And I love every single person that has been a part of my life as friends, but we all evolve and come and go, right? But it was like, well, after, I don't know, 6 months, I was kind of like, maybe that was just a phase. And maybe those people were great friends for me at that point. But
in that season.
And now I'm in a different season and I have different friends now too,
Sure.
And I still, I'm still close with some of the people. I'm not saying like you turn over every time, but for sure that was one part in my brain. Like, what are they going to think? They're not going to want to hang out with me.
Yep.
They're going to think I'm really weird.
Yeah.
They're going to think I'm a loser. They're going to think I'm lame. They're going to think that I don't know how to have fun. I don't know how to cut loose. All of those judgments that I'm sure they had, and they're like, but it is what it is.
It is.
But I can't control their judgments. Right.
Correct.
And that was a big thing too. That has been a large part of it, is like, I can't control what you think about me, but I know I can control how I feel about myself. Right. And so I had to let it go. You have to let it go.
And what I'm finding is the people that actually put out the energy to act like they care or they're going to judge you, they see a part of them inside of you.
Yeah.
You've stopped. You've set the example now. You've raised your standards in your life. Now they're looking at you instead of just saying, hey, I would like to do what you're doing or tell me how you did it. Unfortunately, I think it's human nature to, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? To be jealous, to try to knock you down, to get
judgment,
to try to, because again, they're here now. You kind of leveled up a little bit, and they're looking up at you, saying, "Well, maybe it's too hard to get to where Kelly is, but if I just kind of poke at her and get her back down to my level, now we're good. Now the spotlight's off me."
For sure, and also on the flip side, maybe they're not thinking we're up here; they think they're still here, and we're here, right?
That's a very good point.
Because I've thought that, it's like, oh well. Sucks you don't drink,
Yeah.
Like I remember thinking that like in my 20s when people didn't drink, I'm like, that's weird.
I know.
And which is, I didn't know life any different.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, and it's again, no discount to them. Like that's just that they're in their own journey and their own cycle on it. And, I just always go back to the conditioning, right? The conditioning of who taught us this? What did we witness? What did we observe? What do we think was the normal, right?
Yep.
And so if that's what they're defaulting to, that's just what they're aware of,
And what you keep touching on the word journey, and it's so important for people to understand that we all have our own individual journeys. Mm-hmm. And for me, I make this analogy a lot. It's not right for somebody to put the pressure on them if they're looking at somebody. Let's use the gym as an example. Mm-hmm. If they see somebody in the gym in great shape, well, that person put in the work.
Yeah.
They're this is their journey. They're now at a point in their life where they put in the work to see the results. So if somebody's watching this and they're struggling, they don't know, it's again, you have to put one foot in front of the other first to get onto this journey, to get a week under your belt, a month under your belt, a year under your belt. And this journey never stops.
Yeah.
And
that person could have been 300 pounds, right? They have no idea what their journey was. You only are judging this moment in time.
You're only judging what you see. You don't know what the hell it took.
You have no idea.
And it's kind of back to the question or what you had said about people saying it's weird that you don't drink. It's almost like, motherfucker, if you only knew how I looked, how I acted, the way that, you know what I mean? It's like, the way I look at it is, I'm a better friend now. Mm. You know what I mean? It's like, don't judge me for exactly who I am right now. Judge me for the journey that I've come on. Yeah. Or that I've been on to get me to where I am right now.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah. Yeah. The judgment piece is really hard because everybody has their, like I said, their own conditioning, whatever they were exposed to, what their parents tell them of what they're observing. And it's such a It's a murky world in that
and
judgment thing.
It's not easy to break generational curses.
No.
It's not easy to be the first in your family to say, you know what? I don't know if this is the right route.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be good for me now as a father. You know, that's why I'm so happy to have you here, because to be able to connect with somebody who lives in my hometown, who is also a parent, has a husband, you know, my hopes is that people that are watching this, they see that we are two just everyday people.
Yeah.
We're not celebrities. We're not athletes. We're on here just talking our story. Because like I told you earlier, there's been a lot of people that have reached out to me now. And the more that I can be transparent with my story, the more that you can be transparent with your story. My belief is enough people will watch it and go, okay, I don't have a problem. I just need to get on this journey of maybe finding myself.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
At what point, or let me ask you this, when you had kids, was that a big driver for you to get on this journey of understanding yourself and ridding substances?
Yeah. You know, like I said, I had started questioning in my 20s just because of situations that I put myself in. And then I always said my 20s were my selfish years. You know, like, I'm going to do me, whatever. And then I was like, well, in my 30s, I'll think about kids if it's the timing's right, whatever. Well, then I got pregnant like a month into my 30s. So, surprise.
Yep.
And I remember, because I coached soccer since my kids were really young. And I was like, there is no way I'm going to be hungover at an 8 a.m. game. That sounds horrible as coaching kids. Like, so then it was like, all right, well, I'm definitely not drinking even a glass of wine the night before. Like, that just, I want to be my best, you know, for these kids. So yeah, it was like small little increment thoughts like that, you know? And then it was like the patio, back to that one Sunday.
Yep.
It was like, but now, and I think now that I think about it, I think some of me questioning, why did I need to drink that day, was like, I didn't really like how I parented after that.
After the drink.
Like, I was reactionary.
Yep.
You know, and I'm already feel like I'm a little reactionary. So it was like even more heightened.
Sure.
And so then I was like, I didn't totally love how I parented. Like, I should probably take a pause, you know?
Sure.
So yeah, parenting, I think, was sort of, for a lack of a better term, like the icing on the cake. Because, you know, it was like, I kept coming back to it, these subconscious thoughts, these things. And then it was like, okay, I'm going to pause for a little bit. But yeah, parenting for sure was a pretty big sort of like catalyst for me to wake up and be like, oh yeah, I need to take a pause.
Well, because now we're not only responsible for our lives, we're responsible for others, and we are setting the example for them, and we're programming them. So when they're in their 20s, whatever we're doing, they're going to probably do.
For sure. Well, and that's back to the conditioning. Like, what am I showing my kids day to day? What does your life look like?
How to have fun,
how to have fun, how to cope.
Manage stress.
Yep. Again, it's back to that conditioning. Like, the conditioning and what was shown to us on how to do this. And that's the example I want to set for them, you know? Yeah. It's the most important thing for me. Absolutely most important.
Me too. I was just having this conversation with somebody yesterday, and I said, look, at the end of the day, I'm putting out all this content because if God forbid something happened to me, my kids can go on and they can hear my whole story. Instead of reading textbooks or talk, they can hear it straight from me because I've lived it. And I think it's a massive dynamic bringing a female in, so both sides can feel it.
For sure.
And can understand it. When it comes to the dynamic of husband and wife, did Kyle ever say to you, I think you have a problem? Was he putting any pressure on you?
No. He, I kind of came to it all on my own. Cause we would, you know, we go to the lake, have drinks on the boat, you know, go have margaritas on Friday night dinner. There was never any pressure, any indication from him, but throughout our relationship, like, I remember there were some Sundays we wake after partying on a Saturday night, and I'm like, I don't feel great, you know, like, I don't want to go to brunch or whatever everybody else is doing. So yeah, no, there was it was 100% me coming to the realization, But he's been super supportive. I think at first he was like, what? Like, what?
What do we sign up for?
What do we...
Wait, do I have to stop drinking?
Okay, we'll see how long that lasts. And then now it's 4 years. He's like, yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's all game.
And I think it's rubbing off on him.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure.
You know,
I think, yeah.
The guy that I'm working with right now, in the beginning, he stopped drinking. He stopped smoking pot. A week into us working, his wife stopped drinking. And she hasn't drank since.
Wow.
So it's so important.
That's cool.
Not only for the husbands to lead by example, but the husbands trust and love their wives. So if they're leading by the example as well, you know, it's like a domino effect.
Yeah. Well, and it's, I think, probably incredible for everybody's home life, right? If you guys are all on the same playing field, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody's influenced by something. Like you can have legit in-depth conversations rather than, you know,
surface level.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How much better did your relationship with Kyle get when you stopped drinking?
Yeah, it's a good question because we also started working together at the same time that I quit. So,
okay.
Which honestly has been the best 4 years of a relationship. Like, so I think I always thought that it was us working together that would made our relationship like the best it's been. But I actually think it's also the alcohol. I don't know what the ratio is. You know, it could be 40-60 or 50-50. I don't know. But like that just the honesty, I think, with removing the alcohol for me, I think definitely played a huge part in the last 4 years for sure.
Yeah, and becoming the best you.
Yeah.
I believe is going to impact your relationship in a strong way regardless.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, when you do the work, you focus on yourself, you put in the time to figure out, all right, how do I get on this journey? Where does this journey take me? Again, for me, when I stopped drinking and I stopped using other substances, I was able to fully love again and also receive love. That's one thing that I think I lacked for many years was the inability to receive love. I heard the words, but did I actually feel them? No, I didn't. And maybe it was a trauma from being from childhood, but like I wasn't able to receive love. Finally, when I'm clear-headed, the words I love you actually hit my heart.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful.
That's
really cool. I think that's a huge thing because if you're numbed out, you can't feel like one of the things from yoga teacher training was your emotion all comes from one root. Whether it's anger, you're pissed off, you're happy, you're loved, all those things are coming from one point.
Yep.
And so if you're numbed out and you can't feel any of those, you're not going to feel the highs of the highs. Like you're not going to feel the love, you know, because that sort of that one point is just silence, you know.
It's numbed.
It's numbed. Yeah, for sure.
It's numbed.
Yeah. That's so cool though.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things, and I was talking to Mitra about this when she was in here. You know, the natural high that I get right now when I'm with her. You know, when we're just driving together and I put my hand on her shoulder, I'm rubbing her neck. You know, at any time of the day, we go on a date night, you know, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, we're driving home. That feeling of being in control gives you so many more options in life. Yeah. And that's one thing that a lot of people probably think of, you know, if I stop drinking, what now?
Yeah. Oh.
No, when you stop drinking, life opens up.
Yeah.
You know, the analogy I always go back to is before I stopped drinking, I feel like God was holding onto my shoulders like this, saying, all right, son, I know where you want to go. I know what you're capable of. But if I give you all that right now while you're still drinking, you're going to lose it. Yourself, your family.
Yeah.
Literally from the day that I stopped, I can feel his hand slowly releasing from me because he was able to trust me.
Yeah.
Through my actions, not just through my words, because there was many times that I said, I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to stop drinking. Finally, when he saw me actually stick with it, doors started opening up, relationships started getting better. Some relationships exit out of my life that needed to. But it's you don't understand it until you're in it.
Yeah.
You know, and again, the people that are watching this, some are watching this thinking, maybe we're nuts.
Yeah.
But it's...
So what?
But what I'm saying is until you actually live it,
yeah.
you'll understand what we're saying.
You know, I've always been a morning person. Like, even when I was Party Kelly, I was the one waking up in the morning, like, chop, chop, everybody. I made coffee. Let's clean this up. Like, I was always the morning person, right? Love the mornings. Whenever, like, the first 6 months of stop drinking, I genuinely wake up at like 3 or 4 because I'm just excited that I know that I am not hungover.
Oh,
that I am like, and it wasn't even like I was hungover every day. It was maybe once a year, twice a year. It was, you know, or just that slightest little tick. You know, it was like maybe I had 1 or 2 drinks, but I was a little dehydrated. You know, it wasn't like I slammed 3 bottles of wine. You know, it was just that little tick of when I'm like, oh, is that headache going to be there in the morning? You know,
Yep.
The fact that I was even more excited to wake up in the morning and a morning person, I was like, okay, I need to slow my roll a little bit. Like, I should probably sleep a little bit more, you know, because I was just so excited to start my day. Like, I was like, this is the most fantastic thing. Holy cow. Like, the world is clearer. I'm excited to wake up. Like, what do I get to do today? You know?
It is. I'm so glad you said that, because when I try to explain that feeling to people, unless you have lived it, you know, for me, it was like a new high.
Yes.
Waking up early without a headache, getting up, you know, not taking anything to fall asleep, having options in the morning, knowing that my friends are still in bed. You know, you are ahead of everybody. So again, it becomes an addicting feeling.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it was like, well, a week has gone by. I feel great. I don't want to go backwards now.
Yeah.
So to the people that are watching, even a week of not drinking, you're going to feel a massive difference.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, well, if I could say anything about just like stopping drinking for me, it was like to know that I'll never wake up hungover again was completely it for me. To know that I won't even have that little tick of a headache. I won't have whatever. That was a major motivator for me. Because again, I love the mornings. It made me love the mornings even more. I didn't even know it was possible, you know?
Isn't it crazy? You don't know what's possible until you rid substances out of your life.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
Unfortunately, our world is so programmed that if you have anxiety, if you feel a certain way, you take a pill. You do this, you do this, you do this. But you had mentioned the word pause earlier. It is so important for people to pause and try to figure out, okay, what is making me do these things?
Yeah.
Do I need to step away from the loud world that I'm in right now? Do I need to spend time in silence? For me, spending time in silence gave me so many answers. I didn't sit there and try to say I'm going to do this on my own. I said, I'm going to sit in silence because I don't have the answers right now. And slowly but surely, again, I think God was talking down to me saying, stay here, stay here. It's uncomfortable, but stay here. I promise you it'll get better. And man, it did every single day. Yeah,
for sure. I think back to the like substance thing and the pills and whatever. The conditioning, you know, of like commercials and things of like alcohol, right? Like that was like, I mean, even The Hangover, right? The movie, like that was the coolest thing, right? Like, you don't remember what happened, but look at it all unraveling. And I think we all were chasing that. Like, I mean, that movie was hilarious, you know? So all the alcohol sales, you know, are declining drastically. Like I've seen so many reports about how restaurants are like not doing well because the alcohol sales are so low. And that's where they're getting like a lot of their profit, you know?
People are waking up.
Yeah, which is great. But like, so then I think there was some statistic, I don't remember what it was, but at the Super Bowl, like there was a lot less alcohol commercials or something, right? Because they just know that it's not working anymore. But unfortunately, what I have seen an increase in is like pharmaceutical commercials. Holy cow.
If they can't make it
if they're not making it through the alcohol sales, holy cow, the amount of pills that are coming out and the way that they're marketing them on TV, I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yep.
Like y'all are, I have to, because we were watching, I think the openings, you know, there was the Yankees and the Giants last night.
Yeah.
And the commercials were playing. We don't typically watch TV if there's, you know, the commercials. We'll just watch like a couple shows or whatever. And it was like pharmaceutical ad after pharmaceutical ad. I'm like, holy cow, we got rid of all the alcohol ads, but here we are with all the I'm like,
replace one thing for the other.
Holy cow. But seriously, I'm like, it's bad.
Yeah.
I think even the Super Bowl is really bad too. Like I remember being like, Yeah, it's really bad. So that's like another form of conditioning that's coming up, right? Of like them trying to say, hey guys, like, let's spend money on these, talk to your doctor if you have these symptoms, and then there's all the side effects that come with them,
Yeah,
like,
the 2 minutes after the commercial, if you have this happen, well,
yeah, I think one of them was like, I don't even remember what it was, but it kept saying like suicidal thoughts was like a pretty significant side effect. I'm like, holy shit, like, can we stop? This is horrible. Like, why are we making this the normal,
Yeah.
Anyway, I just worry that I feel like all the noise with alcohol is definitely quieting down, but that is revving up huge. Like, I can't escape it, really.
Now, did you ever have any problems with any other substances besides alcohol?
Mm-mm.
No?
No, it was just alcohol. I didn't mention this at the beginning, but my dad died 10 years ago of stomach and esophagus cancer. And he was, what I always say is, he was like born in the wrong century. He was like, I just need everything on my back, which is definitely incredible. Like, but he was, I'm pretty sure he was homeless the last 5-10 years of his life. I don't really know for sure. But I guarantee you the stomach and esophagus cancer was from alcohol and substances, right? So that was also another big pivot point for me was and then it was 10 years ago, so like I haven't drank alcohol in 4 years.
Still took you
so
6
then
years.
6 years after that, right? And then 10 years before that was when I had some serious issues with it, and so it's been slowly unraveling. So there's been like big light bulbs and wake up calls when I've like, oh, maybe I should question a little bit more,
Sure.
But yeah, I forgot to mention that at the beginning.
No, it makes a lot of sense. The part about being a present mother these days and leading by example, whether you're at the house, at the baseball fields, how much do you think your influence on your kids is going to stick compared to or competing with everything else that's out there right now? Like, are there certain things that you do during your days or certain things that you teach your kids right now about life, about substances to try to keep them away from it? Or is it just solely leading by example?
Yeah, I was leading by example, I would say, for the first 2 years because my son would have been 6, so I don't know how much would have really stuck if I really said something.
Sure.
It was more of leading by example.
Sure.
But then they started questioning, they would be like, well, what's alcohol? Like they're just asking questions. I'm like, well, it comes in multiple forms, and explain to them. I was like, but it's ultimately poison.
Sure.
And they're like, what? Like, they're just like, why do people drink poison? Like, I don't understand. I was like, yeah, I mean, nobody told me when I was younger that like sleep is the most important thing, right? Nobody told me like your protein intake, magnesium. Like nobody was telling me those things when I was younger. And I played soccer competitively most of my life. So like, I'm sure all those things would have benefited me tremendously. So those are the things I'm really teaching my kids now is like, hey, sleep is number one. So they know. I'm like, what's number one in this household? They're like, sleep, So and if you're using something, sleep is not going to be your top priority, right?
Sure.
So it's kind of like I'm setting the foundation of the root of health first.
Good.
And then hopefully that root of health, then when those things come up where they're realized it's not good for them, they'll be like, wait, that's not my foundation though, right? Because I could be like, oh, alcohol is horrible. I could be like this, which we all know. But like if the foundation is set of what they know truly is best for their body, then I think they could have the, their own skills and their own critical thinking to be like, that doesn't really blend with what my goals are.
Their own wherewithal to say, I know other people are drinking it, but I don't see my parents.
For sure.
And it doesn't fit our family dynamic with health.
Yeah.
So I'm going to choose not to do it. But I think, again, leading by example as a parent, I believe is the pivotal move.
Yes.
Instead of telling your kids what to do or telling your kids not what to do, show them what to do.
For sure.
Show them what to do.
Yeah. I was working out on Monday in the garage and my daughter got out a ladder, like one of the like agility ladders. She rolled it out. I didn't tell her to get it out. She rolled it out. She got her little box jump out. She got a yoga mat. She's barefoot because she's super feral and it's like on concrete. And she was like, did high knees, butt kicks, like hopscotch. She was doing all that. And then she did the box jump. And then she did sit-ups and push-ups and all this stuff on the yoga mat. And I'm sitting there working out right now. You know, I wasn't like, hey, let's do this. So, and what she told me, she's like, every Monday I'm doing this workout. I didn't even tell her like, hey, every Monday you should do this workout, you know?
Yep.
But she watched me, and it was like, yeah, you're going to be super strong, you know? Like, good for you.
Mason's waking me up now at 6 a.m. and go on a walk.
Oh, I love that. That's so good.
It's massive.
Yeah.
And it takes me to my next point of when you're looking to make a change in your life, get rid of a substance, it's so important that you set your day up with other things to do. Mm-hmm. Because for me, years of boredom led to curiosity, led to numbing. So right now, it's important that I'm structuring my days where if the thought comes in my mind of, would be nice right now to numb out, have a drink. Well, does that fit with what I'm doing in the next hour?
Yeah.
Which is usually something healthy. It doesn't.
No.
So
yeah, for sure.
It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
And that's what I want people to know is, you know, when you're getting rid of a substance, it's not just you're getting rid of it. You're stepping in to an abundance of life now. Mm-hmm. Your options are much more open, I guess you can say.
Yeah, for sure.
There's more to do. There's more light to see.
Yeah, like I remember when I was drinking, I'm like, oh, I really love lifting weights, but I don't know. You know, like I'll get to it someday, you know. And then I had found this great workout program, and I've been doing it for 3.5, almost 4 years. So I channeled a lot of that energy. Like, I'm going to be lifting weights. Like, I want to lift some heavy stuff, you know? And that was like, that took up so much more of my time, right? It was like 45 minutes, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. You know, it was like, well, now I'm actually able to wake up early and go do that. Because I would wake up at like 5 and I'd go to Hot Works and go lift in the back and then come back and then wake the kids up. That's what I started to do like right out the gate whenever I stopped drinking. So I was like, well, I know I'm not going to wake up hungover. I know I'm going to be able to wake up at 5 a.m. and go lift some heavy stuff, you know?
Yep.
So I was like, I know I'm going to be able to because I won't have that little tick and be like, oh, not today. I can't wake up today. Yeah,
hit the snooze button.
Yeah.
Push it to tomorrow. We talked earlier about, you know, Mitra actually taught me seasons of life.
That's good. She's awesome.
She's the best.
Yeah.
And again, I can say this, the more clear-headed I've got on this journey, the more I have fallen in love with my wife. Mm-hmm. I never thought it was possible. Because for so many years, and I think it's normal in a relationship that if one is going through something, they're usually doing this to the other person. Mm-hmm. You're causing it. I'm doing this because you did this, and this. But when I was able to pause and say, look inward, again, it allowed me to feel love for the first time.
Yeah. And
it's stronger than ever. But the seasons of life that I want to talk about, if somebody is stuck in their season right now of drinking, of using, in depression, whatever it may be, can you elaborate more on how that season felt for you and give somebody a little bit of a glimmer of hope of getting out of that season, knowing that seasons don't last forever?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. Mitra's amazing, by the way. She's so right. Like, seasons they ebb and flow, right? They can also, like, you know, kind of like Mother Nature. They can drastically change really quickly. It's not a slow thing sometimes. Sometimes it's something happens and you're like, shocks your system, right?
Yep.
Seasons are
like the season that you were in before you made this big change in your life. If somebody's sitting there in that exact season right now, what sort of, I guess, words would you share with them to give them a glimmer of hope that this season is going to end? I guess the best way to put it is somebody needs to realize that it's just a season, realize what they can learn in that season, so when the next season comes, they're better than the first season.
2 things come to mind. One is give yourself some damn grace. Like, we are all human. We're all learning new things. We're all observing this light different every day, right? Like, this is so simple, but like, I was in the shower today and for some reason, this one vista that I've never even noticed was like through the bathroom, through the through the side window, and I saw the light catch on the tree, like this one part of the tree. And I was like, that is stunning. I've lived in this house for almost 3 years. But it was just a little bit of a shift of awareness of my world around me. And that was today. I don't know what made me realize that today, but like,
Sure.
So if you give yourself grace to slowly see those little things, right?
Yep.
It could be not only the grace of what, like your environment, but what are you thinking about? And being truly honest of what are my thoughts right now?
Yeah.
Are they scary thoughts? They probably freaking are. Right?
Yep.
You know, in yoga teacher training, which was one of the big pivots, I think not long after that is when I quit, was we did a lot of journaling, like a lot. And that was huge for me because you have to write down those gnarly thoughts, right? Those ones that piss you off, those ones that you're like, damn, I should not be thinking that. Holy shit, I'm terrified. Because those thoughts are real,
Yep.
right? And if you keep silencing them and hushing them and just saying, shh, you know, I don't need to listen.
Yep.
If you are silencing those, then you're just going to keep silencing them, right? But if you know, walk in that door very confident, like I'm going to write them down, you can find some great journal prompts online. There's some incredible, you know, on Insight Timer, there's some incredible stuff out there to really like write those thoughts down and be honest with yourself.
It's huge.
Because if you're not, you're just going to keep silencing them. You know, it's like that little Tweety bird or like,
yeah.
With my therapist, I have this weird image of the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
Like, hurry up, you're late. And I always have this, you're late, like subconscious thought in my head. And I just imagine that stupid rabbit, just like, you're late, like, hurry up. You're not doing enough. You're not there. You're not doing it. Right?
Yep.
And once you pay attention to those little voices of whatever season's happening, you have to listen to them. Because if you're not, again, you're walking through with silence and numbing out and all the things.
Yep.
But as soon as I really genuinely started listening to those voices, it was like, holy shit, I need to do something.
It's funny you say that because I do hypnotherapy every 2 weeks. And my hypnotherapist, in my last session, she said this: if you have a thought that you don't like, write it out, speak it out, literally just say like, okay, is this thought valid right now? Does this thought serve me right now? I'm in fear right now. I'm feeling a certain way. And I kid you not, when I speak these out, I'll pause and I'll speak it out. It's almost like they're leaving my mind as soon as I speak it and write it.
Yeah, I have a somatic therapist and we kind of do the same thing where your thoughts, and then she's like, is that true?
Right.
And then you have to sit there and be like, it's actually not, right? Like, but those thoughts are there, and it's like your own conditioning, right? It's like the conditioning out in the world happened, and now those conditioning thoughts are, you know, it's speaking to you. So if you're able to really listen to them and pull them out, and
it silences that bird on your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
The bird's making a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
It's causing a bunch of thoughts.
Yes.
But once you write those thoughts out, you pause, you speak those thoughts out loud, you go, what am I fearful of?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not fearful. All of a sudden, that bird is going to start getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I think that a bird is always going to be there.
Yeah.
And that's one thing people need to understand is this is a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
Life is a lifelong journey. Whether you're coming off substances or not, whatever it may be, it's being okay with your thoughts. It's being okay with putting your thoughts out there. And like you said, to people needing to give themselves grace, I feel like people are taking life too damn serious right now. You know what I mean?
Well, I think has a lot to do with social media, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody is just like, we've got to be this, you know, picture perfect, keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing. Like, I got to be so serious all the time. Everything's recorded, everything, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Chill out, guys. Like,
Chill
turn
out.
the phone off. Just, it's okay.
I started actually last Sunday. I told Mitra I'm not going to be on my phone today. And when Monday morning rolled around, it was like a detox.
Yeah.
It was a massive detox. And for me, that word detox, you have to detox your mind when you're looking to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
And with detoxing your mind, you have to bring to the very forefront, well, what the hell is on your mind?
Yeah. It's also like reprogramming, right? Because like you're reprogramming the conditioning that you've observed for, I'm turning 40 next year. But like 40 years I've observed
the wrong stuff.
Yeah. So
well, we can't say it's the wrong stuff. It's what we're shown.
Right. And it's up to us to decide, kind of back to like setting your kids up with a foundation. Like now you get to discern, is this right for me? You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Talk to me about being a mother who is so busy in your kids' lives. If alcohol was still a part of your life, how much of that would not be here?
Oh, man. I honestly would probably be still working my corporate job where I hardly saw them. I would be in that probably pretty high up in leadership. You know, I would drop my kids off at 6:30 in the morning. They'd probably be at early childcare before school starts. They'd probably be after school, probably pick them up. I wouldn't have to do their homework with them. You know, I guarantee you I would be in some sort of very high functioning, like high stress corporate something. Because that was sort of that's what I always thought I was going to do.
Sure.
Which I have somewhat of like COVID to thank, because I remember like driving down 35 to drive to my corporate job, and it was right before COVID hit. And the world was pretty crazy right before COVID hit. Like it was operating on insane cylinders. Like I remember driving down 35 and I'm looking around at people and I'm like, what are we doing? Like we're all driving down 35 in these like massive vehicles to try to get to one spot all at the same time. And I'm like, this is insane, right?
It's a rat race.
It's a rat race. And I'm like, something's going to break. Like I had this intuition of like This is prior to COVID. Yes. My intuition sometimes freaks me out. Like it's on par. So I'm like, there's something in the energy right now that I'm like, it's this something. Yeah, I feel it. Sure enough, COVID, right?
Yep.
I'm like, we're not on the rat race of 35 anymore. You know, we're in nature. We're at home more, all the things, and slowing down, right? Because of that, I was able to really sit at my house that was the first house we had that I loved. Like you look out at nature and all the trees in the back, you know. And I remember when I had my son, I remember thinking they're like, I want to slow down. But I think, you know, high functioning, drinking alcohol and all those things kept silencing the slow down. I want to slow down. And I'm like, no, I'll slow down later. Right? Yep. No. I'm gonna keep going. And then COVID hit, and I was like, I'm gonna make sourdough. You know, I was a sourdough person.
It was great. We traded eggs for sourdough.
But like those sort of slowing down things where previous me would have been like, that's a waste of my time. I'm just gonna go buy it. Right?
Yeah.
That was me pre-COVID, right? And then once I started to slow down, I was home more. I think my daughter, like I watched her crawl for the first time when she was at home because they weren't at school. And, you know, those sort of watching those slower movements really started to be like, yeah, I really need to slow down. And so, yeah, it sort of has domino effects since then of like, I want to really slow down, and that's okay. You know, I went undergrad, grad school. I got my license to be an architect, you know. I mean, I can practice whenever I want. I still keep it going, but
sure.
This is a different season of my life. I'm going to slow down. My kids are only 8 and 6 once. And I'm able to listen to be like that little voice of, I want to slow down. I'm actually listening to it now, right?
It's crucial.
It's super important.
It's crucial.
And the things that I used to think were like an inconvenience of like, I'm just going to pay somebody to wash my car, right? Because like, I don't have time for that. Like, I used to love washing my car when I was 16. Like, I loved washing my car. It's a good workout. Like, all the things, you know? But, like, I look back at it now and I'm like, yeah, but it's such, like, it's a good workout. Like, you get to take care of your stuff. Like, all those things. Whereas, like, before it was, like, an inconvenience or it's a waste of my time. Right? That rushing part of it of, like, I'll just pay somebody else to do it. I'm sure I'll figure it out. You know? Or I'll run through the car wash real quick and it just whatever. but slowing down truly for those things that bring you joy, is just, again, because I cut out the alcohol, I think I really listen now.
Because there's nothing fogging your brain to
Yes,
not listen.
for sure.
You know, it's like a dark cloud that's lifted. You know, a good story. A cousin of mine, he works for a major airline company that flies all Tesla's parts and stuff all around the world. And he said, hey, they're coming out these new robots that you can buy for your house, $20,000 a piece. It'll do your laundry. And I looked at him and I said, I don't think I would ever want one of those because I enjoy doing my laundry. Mitra does it. Yeah. I fold it. Taking the time to slow down. Yeah. You don't need things to be like that. That was part of my reprogramming. Was I was stuck in this identity of fast paced. Everything needed to be, somebody washes my car, somebody cuts my lawn. So yep. I lose myself. Yes. Completely. And I'm stuck at I'm a high functioning businessman.
Yes. For what?
For what?
Yeah.
For what? When I have two kids looking at me saying, I can't understand how much money you're making. I can't understand the company that you're running. All I'm seeing is complete chaos.
Yeah.
Slow down. And back to giving yourself grace. People need to realize, like my client, I told him, take a week off. He went to Argentina or went to another country. Take a week off. Disconnect. Yeah. What is a week in the grand scheme of things? What's a week? If the average lifeline's 75, 80 years, what is a week?
Nothing.
But it's back to the programming. You can't be off for a week. You're not working. You know, it's the identity. My parents used to call me all the time. What are you doing? What are you doing? They couldn't understand that I was moving out of one season, stepping into another, stepping into the identity of who I want to be, not the identity that was given to me from birth.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to think how programmed we are up to today, exactly what we're talking about right now. Because in 6 months from now, you and I will probably sit down again and look back on this and go, wow, we've actually come a long way since then.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So every single day is something new. Every single day is a chance to get better. Every single day is a chance to pause and to hear and to see certain things like you saw this morning. Life opens up when you're able to pause. Step out into nature.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah, like this morning, I think when I saw you, I was like, isn't the morning beautiful? Because like I really felt like the breeze was like a little cooler this morning. You know, just the little subtleties of the things every day when we're rushing or doing all those other things. I truly felt those things because I was like outside, right? You know, it was like I wasn't having to, you know, I mean, I probably could have washed my car this morning, you know, and really felt the outside air. You know, I'll probably do this afternoon, but still like really feeling just the true slowdown. And that's it. It's just like that. It's kind of like with technology, right? Like technology was like, oh, we're going to make everything really productive for you so you can truly spend time with your family, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to make it so accessible. You're on it all damn day.
Exactly, right? So like we're in this weird transition of like, okay, well now AI is doing all these things for us. So then, okay, wasn't the whole point of computers for us to like work less?
Automate things.
Right? Weren't we supposed to be doing that?
But now we're on this damn thing all day. And that's a discussion for its own.
Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms. But I'm just saying like those sort of like really observing and absorbing what are we doing every day? What is really important to us?
And bringing your awareness to it. Or else you get caught in the perpetual cycle of just doing and being and doing and being. You know, a guy told me a long time ago, he said, listen, we are human beings. We're not human doings.
Yes.
And the word to be is to be still. To be. To be okay with where you're at. To wrap this up, Kelly, again, thank you for coming on here. This is massive.
Yeah.
I want to speak to our local community here. People that see you and I out. I know for me personally, if somebody's struggling with something, come talk to me. Yeah. There's never any judgment. There's, you know, again, because I've lived it. I'm here. I don't want to speak for you, but if somebody's watching this right now and they're here in Georgetown, can they call you? Can they talk to you?
Yeah, of course. You know? It all sort of clicked for me too when one person posted that I did yoga teacher training with. She's like, I'm going to stop drinking for a bit. because it's not in alignment with yoga and everything. She posted that once, right? And then then I had that light bulb later. It was that one thing. She probably didn't even know when she was posting that was going to affect somebody, right? I love talking about this stuff because, we're all in the same world together. And we all have kids or playing sports, it's just, we're all here to help each other, really, I think. And so the more that people talk about this and the more they're honest about it, of like, yeah, I wanted to just day drink because I didn't want to be hungover. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only person that's ever thought that, Yeah. I'm a real person. I'm not here to paint some beautiful picture. Like, I've had my problems. I'm sure people who watch this that know me will be like, yeah, I remember Party Kelly, and that's okay. It is what it is. But what I do know is that I have a lot of friends now that have thanked me for being honest with them, because they're like, I can so relate. Or they'll be like, I met one of my really good friends. She was like, one of the first times we went to like a pool party together, she's like, you don't drink? I was like, no. She goes, my dad's been telling me to stop drinking for a long time. Yeah. She's like, you've done it? Tell me how. Like, if the more that we talk about it, the more that we can all help heal each other. Because I know that I will learn a lot from people. Oh. It's not me like teaching them the best way to do it. And I love talking about this stuff with you because of this. Like, you have your own journey. I have my own. We all do. And so if we collectively are like, wow, let's have these amazing conversations about what shit did we go through? Yeah. How did you conquer it? What did it feel like in your body? What were the conversations you were having in your own head? We're not alone. No. And that's why I love talking about it, because I'm like, I'm going to learn a lot from somebody else. I don't know 99% of the answers to the problems, but I know that I can speak what happened to me, right?
Absolutely. And sometimes it's a subtle reminder when you hear somebody else's story or struggle of, okay, that's why I'm not going to go back to that. Yeah. Thank you. I needed that reminder. Because I remember, you're right. I remember when I was like that just hit really close to home. Yeah. Yeah, I'm 9 years not drinking, but I go day by day. Yeah. I go day by day. Yeah. One day at a time. There's going to be thoughts and feelings that might come up tomorrow, but if I focus on not drinking today, doing my best today, I don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah. I can't. We can't. Sure. We're humans. We're all humans going through this life trying to do the best that we can. For sure. I'm not perfect. You're never going to be perfect. Yeah. Nobody's perfect. Yeah. But to your point, if we can get in a habit of coming together as a community and hearing everybody out, it's going to start putting certain pieces to the puzzle that we are missing in our personal lives.
For sure. And I think being honest with your friends about it, right? Absolutely. Like, this shit sucks. I mean, for lack of a better term, like, it's very difficult to rewire it all. It's not an easy path, for sure, but it is the best path for me so far.
They say pick your hard. Yeah. For me, it was harder to wake up hungover, having to apologize, having to remember, versus right now being in the thick of it, clear-headed, hitting head life on sober. Yeah. That's easier than the other hard. Mm-hmm. Big time.
For sure.
So,
yeah.
Again, Kelly, cool. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks. That was great.
That was awesome.